Hello and welcome back to Astrology Unlocked. Aries, let's talk for a moment. Right now, at this very second, someone is caught in the afterglow of a fire you started. Someone who still feels the warmth of your presence, even though all that remains is a profound and echoing silence. Someone whose heart races when a memory of you, your laugh, your fearless energy, the way you made them feel alive, flashes through their mind without warning. They carry an ache, a phantom limb of a connection so vibrant, so intense, that you were its source, its sun. And you likely have no idea, because you, magnificent Aries, are a force of nature. You moved on. You charged forward toward the next horizon, the next battle, the next great adventure. You don't build walls brick by brick. You detonate bridges with a single, decisive act to ensure you can never go back. You closed a chapter because in your heart, the story was over. But what if I told you that on the other side of that scorched earth, someone is still standing there, still breathing in the smoke, waiting for a sign, and missing you with a quiet desperation you can't possibly fathom? I am here today, as your guide, to deliver a truth that is both difficult and deeply liberating. Someone from your life, and trust me, your intuition will scream their name before I'm even finished, is carrying a silent grief connected directly to you. If this is already sparking a name, a face in your mind, do me a favor right now and let me know in the comments by typing, "I'm listening." Your story is safe here. And if you are ready to truly understand and master the incredible, fiery energy of your sign, make sure you smash that subscribe button and join our community here at Astrology Unlocked. We don't just look at the stars, we learn to navigate by them together. This person could be someone you blazed past when you felt your freedom was being caged or your passion was being doused. It might be someone you had to leave behind because the path forward was simply too narrow for two. It could even be a person you still see, a friend or a colleague. But the vibrant, energetic connection you once shared has been replaced by a formal, hollow distance that feels colder than any argument ever could. What I am about to share with you will challenge you. It will force you to look in the rearview mirror, something an Aries rarely does. It will illuminate the true impact of your forward momentum on the landscape you've left behind. And most importantly, it will grant you a powerful choice, a chance to act, to heal, or to consciously let go, armed with the full truth. Because this person won't reach out. Their pride, or perhaps their pain, won't allow it. They've watched you move on. They see your new victories, your new passions, and they've convinced themselves that you never look back, that you don't think of them, that maybe, just maybe, you never truly cared as deeply as they did. But the truth is far more complex, isn't it, Aries? You can convince the entire world you've forgotten, that the past is ash, but your heart, ruled by Mars, the planet of passion and fire, it never forgets a true flame. Are you ready to discover who this person is and why they are still caught in the embers of your memory when the world is dark and quiet? Aries, you must first understand the sheer power of your own nature to grasp the situation fully. You are the pioneer of the zodiac, the first spark of life, the untamed fire of pure will. You don't enter someone's life quietly. You arrive like a comet, a brilliant, burning spectacle that changes the sky. Your connections are not built on gentle whispers and slow familiarity. They are forged in the heat of shared adventure, passionate debates, and an intensity that makes people feel more alive than they ever have before. You don't just make friends, you find comrades in arms. You don't just fall in love, you ignite a blaze. You are transformative. People who have truly orbited your sun, who have felt the full force of your focus and passion, are fundamentally altered by the experience. They become braver, they take risks, they learn what it feels like to be truly seen by someone who operates without pretense. And that, right there, is the heart of the matter. That is precisely why someone is hurting for you right now. Because you are so profoundly significant, so incredibly vibrant in their life, that your absence didn't just create a void, it turned the lights out. The silence you left behind is deafening. They are trying to move forward, to convince themselves they are okay. They search for that same spark in others, for that same exhilarating energy. But it's like trying to light a fire with wet wood. Everything that comes after you feels muted, pale, and unsatisfying. In the dead of night, when the distractions of the day fade, your memory returns, not as a soft, nostalgic glow, but as a phantom energy, a reminder of what it felt like to be truly electrified. And a deep sadness settles in because they believe they have lost something utterly irreplaceable. Let's break this down, because your Aries fire manifests in different ways. For Aries born between March 21st and March 31st, this person is most likely a former lover or a creative partner. This is the purest expression of Aries energy, doubly ruled by Mars. You two burned incredibly brightly, but you distanced yourself when the passion began to feel like an obligation, a fire that was becoming too difficult to contain or maintain. You needed freedom, and they felt like an anchor. For those born between April 1st and April 10th, this is likely a very close friend who you saw as a true equal. Your energy is influenced by the sun, giving you a natural leadership quality. You broke away or created distance after a conflict of wills, a moment where you felt your authority or your path was being questioned. You saw their caution as a betrayal of the fearless bond you shared. And for Aries, born between April 11th and April 20th, this person is someone you took under your wing, a mentee or someone you championed. Your Mars energy is blended with the expansive, optimistic influence of Jupiter. You let them go abruptly when you felt they were no longer growing at your pace, or when you believed, rightly or wrongly, that they needed to face their own battles alone. You saw it as an act of tough love. In every one of these scenarios, the pattern is the same. You moved away not out of malice, but out of a fierce, instinctual need to protect your own momentum. Your energy is sacred to you. When something or someone begins to drain it, to slow you down, to complicate your forward path, your instinct is to sever the tie. Cleanly, quickly, decisively. You prefer the sharp, hot pain of a swift ending to the slow, agonizing drain of a connection that has lost its fire. But here is the truth you may not have considered. What feels like a necessary, clean break for you can feel like a sudden and catastrophic amputation for the other person. They don't possess your unique ability to cauterize a wound with the heat of the next adventure. They are still standing there, disoriented, wondering how the sun could just vanish from the sky without warning. Have you ever truly stopped to consider what your absence feels like to someone who built their world around your light? The truth I need you to hear is that this person isn't just aching because you hurt them, though that may be part of it. They are aching because they lost you. They missed the electricity. They missed the way you saw their potential and challenged them to meet it. They miss the way no problem seemed too big when you were by their side, ready to charge into battle. The sheer, unadulterated life force you brought into their existence has made everything since feel like a grayscale version of reality. You might be thinking, but I had to leave. They were holding me back. I was hurt too. And you are 100% correct. Your feelings are valid. This message is not an accusation. It is a revelation. I am simply pulling back the curtain to show you the profound, lingering impact of your energy, even in its absence. I am giving you the intelligence you need to make a conscious, empowered choice about what to do next. Because from this moment, there are only two paths forward. You can acknowledge the truth of this. You can allow yourself to identify this person, feel the flicker of emotion that comes with their memory, and then decide, with the clarity of a warrior, whether you wish to act on it. Or you can click away from this video, dismiss this as sentimental nonsense, and bury this information under a mountain of new projects and distractions. You can continue to project that bulletproof image of the unstoppable Aries, who is made of fire and steel. But you and I both know you're not made of steel. You are made of fire, and fire feels everything. You've just learned to burn so brightly that no one can see the moments you flicker. The person who aches for you is haunted by what-ifs. They replay your last conversations, trying to pinpoint the exact moment the energy shifted. They wonder what they could have done differently to keep up, to stay in your orbit. They imagine alternate timelines where you're still partners in crime, still conquering the world together. Sometimes they'll look at your social media. Not often, because it's like staring into the sun. It hurts, but they look, just to see you thriving, to see you happy, to see that you filled the space they once occupied. And do you know what hurts them the most? It's how effortlessly you seem to have moved on. Your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise from any setback and charge forward. It's the very thing they admired most about you, and now it's the source of their deepest pain. They see it as proof they never mattered. What they don't know, and what you barely admit to yourself, is that you haven't moved on as easily as you appear. An Aries doesn't process pain by sitting with it. You attempt to outrun it. You bury it under layers of action, achievement, and new beginnings. You haven't forgotten this person. You've simply locked their memory in a box and put it in the attic of your mind while you build a brand new house. But it's still there. The box is still there, humming with a latent energy, waiting for a quiet moment when you finally allow yourself to look inside. Aries, I'm going to ask you some direct questions. Be honest with yourself. If you answer yes to more than 3 of these, you know without a doubt who this message is for. 1. Do you ever get a sudden, restless surge of energy when their name or memory comes to mind? A feeling like you need to do something, but you don't know what? 2. When you hear a certain song, the one you both called your song, or drive past that place you used to go, does your foot press a little harder on the gas pedal, as if to speed away from the memory? 3. Have you ever found yourself initiating a conflict with someone new, only to realize halfway through that you're relitigating an old argument you had with them? 4. Do you still feel a flash of protective pride or even anger when you hear someone else speak their name? 5. Do you secretly compare new people in your life to them and find them lacking that same spark, that same willingness to meet your fire with their own? 6. Have you had a dream about them recently? A dream so vivid and action-packed that you woke up with your heart pounding, momentarily confused about what year it is? If you answered yes to several of these questions, then the mask has slipped. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And if you know who it is, then you also know that the connection you shared was too potent, too real, to be simply extinguished by a decision made in the heat of the moment. You can burn a bridge, Aries, but you cannot erase the destination from the map. The bond you forged transcends logistics and time. Now we arrive at the difficult part. The question you must answer for yourself with radical honesty. What will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue on your path, justifying your departure with all the valid reasons you've collected, convincing yourself that looking back is a sign of weakness? Or will you summon a different kind of courage? The courage to admit that maybe, just maybe, you also miss that fire, that you also carry a phantom ache, that sometimes you also feel a pang of loss when no one is watching. I'm not suggesting you need to turn back. I'm not saying that the reasons you left are no longer valid, but I am saying that you deserve to operate with the full truth. And the truth is, you left an indelible brand on that person's soul. Your presence was a supernova, and your absence is a black hole. And if there is a part of you, however small and fiercely guarded, that misses what you had, perhaps it's time to re-examine the no-going-back policy you've implemented. Because here is the great secret of your Aries nature. You charge forward not just because you are brave, but because you are terrified of stagnation. You run from the past not because you are cold, but because you feel things so intensely, so hotly, that you fear being consumed by them. You feign indifference, not because you don't care, but because you care with the force of a wildfire. And that level of passion is a terrifying thing to hold. But this person who is hurting for you, they weren't afraid of your fire. They brought marshmallows. They saw the brilliant, passionate, and sometimes reckless soul behind your armor. They knew the real Aries, not the curated, invincible warrior you show to the rest of the world. And that is why the loss is so acute for them. They didn't just lose a friend or a lover. They lost access to a version of you that you may never show to anyone else again. And you lost someone who could stand in your fire and not get burned. Someone who wasn't intimidated by your ambition. Someone who could handle the full, unadulterated force of your personality without flinching. People like that are not common, Aries. Connections like that are rare gems forged in a volcano. And when you decide to leave a gem like that behind, you're not just protecting your freedom. You are giving up a source of fuel you may never find again. I know you are feeling something as you listen to this. It might be anger, because an Aries despises feeling exposed or controlled. It might be a sharp pang of sadness, because you know this is true. It might be fear, because you're realizing you might have made a strategic error. Or it might be a chaotic cocktail of all of them, because that is how you experience the world. Intensely, immediately, and overwhelmingly. Whatever you are feeling, for once, do not outrun it. Do not bury it under a new task. Do not rationalize it away. Sit with the heat. Let it wash over you. Because this feeling is a message from your own soul, pointing you toward what and who truly matters. This person doesn't need to know you are aware of their quiet struggle. They would likely be mortified, but you need to know. You need to know that your life had, and continues to have, a profound and lasting meaning in someone else's story. You need to know that the fire you created together is not entirely out. It has just banked to embers, buried under layers of pride, pain, and self-preservation. And then you must decide, is the freedom of the open road worth the cost of never again feeling that specific warmth? Is your forward momentum worth giving up something that clearly still holds power, still holds life, still holds meaning? I cannot answer these questions for you. Only you know the full battlefield report. Only you know the wounds you sustained and inflicted. Only you can decide if the person who still feels your absence deserves another chance to stand in your presence, or if it is a battleground you must never revisit. But I will tell you this: if you choose to reconnect, do it like an Aries. Do it with courage and total conviction. No half measures, no testing the waters. If you are going to extend a hand, do it with the full, unshakable force of your will. Be vulnerable. State your intentions clearly. Give them, and yourself, the chance to forge something new from the lessons of the past. And if you choose not to reconnect, that is a valid warrior's choice as well. But make it consciously. Make it with a full understanding of what you are choosing to protect and what you are choosing to release. Don't let it be a decision made from pride or fear. Make it from a place of what is truly best for your own sacred fire and your forward journey. Then find a way to make peace with it. Release them with honor, like a worthy opponent after a hard-fought battle. Wish them well from afar and truly mean it. Because holding on to the justification for their absence binds you to the past just as much as unresolved feelings do. Aries, you are the sign of resurrection. You have the phoenix's ability to turn to ash and be reborn, stronger and brighter than before. But true transformation is not always about burning everything down and starting over. Sometimes the bravest transformation is revisiting a battlefield not to fight again, but to see if anything is worth salvaging from the wreckage. The person aching for you represents a campaign you thought was over, but perhaps it was just a single battle in a longer war for connection. Perhaps their silent struggle is a call for you, the great general of your own life, to look again with the wisdom you have now and reconsider your strategy. In the coming days, you will see signs. You'll hear their name in an unexpected place. A powerful memory will surface while you're in the middle of a workout. You will feel an undeniable pull to look at their profile. These are not commands from the universe. They are dispatches from your own soul, urging you to process this intelligence and decide on your next move. Trust your gut. It is the most reliable weapon in your arsenal. What strikes me most about this situation is the tragic irony. Both of you are suffering in your own way, each assuming the other is completely fine. You are both armored, projecting an image of strength while nursing your own private wounds. And in this chasm of unspoken feelings, you are missing the chance to perhaps heal together. The final truth you must carry from this is that you hold immense power. Your actions, even your inaction, will affect not only your destiny, but theirs. If you reach out, you could turn their quiet grief into roaring relief. You could give them the closure they crave or open the door to a new alliance. If you choose to remain distant, you can at least do so now, with compassion, sending them silent strength for their own journey. What you can no longer do is pretend you don't know. You now know. Someone's world was irrevocably changed by your fire, and a part of them still lives in its light. You now carry the responsibility of that knowledge. Thank you for your courage in listening. Remember, someone is still warmed by a fire you made. And now that you know, you get to decide if it's time to add more fuel or to let the embers fade with grace. The choice, as always, is yours.